I wasn't late. I wasn't late for the first time in history. I actually wasn't late. I went live a little bit before the start time. That's actually a first for this channel in all 2 years that we've been streaming.
Look, we have the same problem with my D&D podcast, so like,
yeah,
time is a construct.
I've wanted for the longest time to do some of that stuff. I've just been intrigued by the idea of actually doing some proper content with tabletop games. I always thought that was really cool. But yeah, we're live. We're live tonight with Sarah, someone we haven't had a conversation with, and I believe it might not have been like a full year at this point, but I believe last summer we had a conversation, and it ended up being pretty fucking productive because now we have a lot of different opinions than we did back then. It seems like, in part due to that conversation, I'd say, because I remember even when we first had that chat, Jamie said that it resonated with her, even when we first walked away from that conversation, it was like, that was pretty productive. Yeah.
I will say during that conversation, I might have been trying to be a little more antagonistic than I wanted to be, but because, I'm trying to put on a show and be entertaining for people.
Yeah.
But, after I walked away from that conversation, I did think of a lot of the things that you said, and I was like, actually, that kind of makes sense, and I see where she's coming from there. And when I went back, Annie was telling you earlier, I did a stream, going back and commenting on, because I do that a lot now. I go over some of my old content and roast some of my own opinions. It can be a lot of fun to do that. And yeah, so I went over the stream where you came on, and I was really noticing that even during that conversation, I was walking back from some things. I was like, okay. And now when it comes to representation in media, I think that's an extremely important thing. And I don't think I realized, I don't think it fully clicked for me until I became trans. And then I watched Family Guy and how they depict trans people. Yeah. And then I saw a ton of other shit and how they depict trans people. And now I'm just I'm trying not to be an SJW about it, but
see,
this
that's
is a problem.
That's the thing that I feel like a lot of people get sucked into. And I was saying before the show, I was like that in about 2016 and previous. And even though I'd always been pretty left-wing, I'd always been at least a liberal my whole life. Yeah. There were things where I thought it was people are making too big of a deal about this thing. Representation. Why do people make fan casts of shows where they change race or gender or whatever? And I was like, this seems like nothing. Why do people do this? And then I didn't realize, it actually does feel good to see somebody like you in a piece of media that you enjoy. Yeah. It's really validating. It's great. And it also changes people's minds whenever they see that depicted.
Absolutely.
In just a normal way, when someone's not a caricature or stereotype.
Yeah.
It does influence people.
Yeah, you can tell when an author's doing it in that type of way too, just to try and make a character into a token, and when someone's trying to actually write a character, you can tell the difference.
You mean J.K. Rowling fucking
God.
Yeah, there's
by the way, Dumbledore's gay. We're not going to provide any subtext within the media. We're just going to say it.
I feel like J.K. Rowling has the special power to piss off everybody of every political affiliation. Yeah, seriously, it's who are you? Are you of any political affiliation at all? Do you hate J.K. Rowling? Yeah. Oh, wow.
It sucks because, I grew up on Harry Potter, and I didn't realize just how schlocky it was until I got older, and I was like, God, literally everything is a stereotype in this book, and it's all, very black and white, good versus evil.
It is.
It has no nuance to it, and, I get it, it was a fun fantasy world, but...
Yeah, it has no nuance to it, just like J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
I still find value in it, but I do overall see its flaws, its many flaws.
And I didn't believe valid criticism of the books until, I was older too, because I was very defensive of it. It's kind of ironic. I'm wearing an old Harry Potter shirt right now while we talk, and this is one of those shirts where it's that's gonna be an around the house shirt because I don't want anybody to know that I liked it.
I know.
This
I
is an
know.
interesting opinion I've never actually seen before. Justin Bird says, I get that actually. I used to like Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory, but then he evolved, as if all his mental abnormalities were something to be fixed. Pissed me off, made me stop watching.
Yeah,
That
I
is
can
something
see
I
that.
noticed about the show, too. I
Yeah.
didn't watch the show for that long because, I mean, it's The Big Bang Theory. But I did watch the first few seasons. I was like, this is okay. Because I was younger at the time. I was like, this is okay. It's good for a couple fucking sheep laughs. But yeah, as the show went on, which I quickly got sick of it, I was like, yeah, they're kind of like making this character less quirky like he used to be. You know, what's up with that?
Yeah, and a lot of people tend to find some, like, they find themselves in Sheldon a little bit as autistic representation. And it's the history of how autistic characters have been depicted has been really bad and done so poorly. And it was never explicitly said that he was autistic, but I know that there were a bunch of people who enjoyed the show and liked his quirks because it reminded them of themselves or people
Sure.
they know.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as the series went on, apparently they just kind of were like, either they make it a joke or they try to fix him, which isn't really, that's not how people work.
That's a terrible message when you really think about it. I mean, very counterproductive and just wrong. I don't know. And it just goes to show, like, yeah, media, a lot of the times they fuck up. Even, I think a lot of it is inadvertently, but yeah, when it comes to, like, representing people, yeah, they really screw the pooch in a lot of ways that I think people don't think of. And I think the important thing is just to, be open to having that conversation. Like, yeah, maybe this or that or the other is a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Maybe it could be done better. I think that's really the conversation that a lot of people want to have, but a bunch of people make it out to be something it's not.
What do you mean conversation, Annie? You're talking about cancel culture. They want to cancel everything.
Oh yeah, we'll
Everything.
get into someone who would think that very.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to press the issue of Ben Shapiro too soon because honestly, he sickens me. We've talked about him like only 3 times on this show so far. Very recently, and I'm just like, I think I've had about enough for a year.
I only pulled him because I thought it might spark an interesting conversation on cancel culture.
All right, yeah.
There's so much to be said about that in general.
Especially his terrible takes, right? Because it's a very common take, I feel like.
So, by the way, I was curious, how did you feel about the Sia movie?
Oh boy. Well, okay. I didn't get to watch it myself. I didn't want to spend money and watch it after I heard the outrage from the autistic community. So what I did was I looked up all kinds of different people that were talking about it, how they felt about the representation, what was in the film that people had problems with. And because I always go into things wanting to give people the benefit of the doubt. And necessarily, I don't think it's always an issue to have a neurotypical actor play somebody who's aneurotypical. That's not 100% always going to be a bad thing. But apparently, the entire production of this movie they ignored research on autistic people. Sia claimed she was going to hire somebody who was autistic, but lied. And then, of course, wrote the part for Maddie already. It was always going to go to Maddie. There's the weird relationship between Sia and Maddie that makes me very uncomfortable. But also, the big thing was the prone restraint that they showed, and they kind of showed that as if it's a good thing in the film, which isn't okay because it's actually dangerous. That hurts people, and autistic people die all the time because people try to restrain them when they're having episodes. And putting that kind of harmful stuff in, even after people told Sia before the movie was released that was a bad idea, it just feels irresponsible of her to really do that.
Right. No, yeah, there was a lot of stuff about the movie that I had problems with too before I even saw it. And I actually did attempt to watch it. My wife was interested in actually giving it a chance, and she was like, well, if it's bad, then we actually saw it so we can, review it and talk about it. And so we thought, yeah, okay, let's do that. I couldn't get through more than 20, 30 minutes of it because those scenes in particular, I couldn't. It was just too much. And I've like since like warned like autistic people or people with any kind of mental disorder to not watch the film because I think it could be dangerous. But I by no means think that this film shouldn't exist. I don't think that she should be punished necessarily for making it. I just think it was bad. It was bad, and she should be able to take fucking criticism. And my biggest problem with her, and one of the reasons why I've lost like so much respect for her, is because she's kind of like her attitude ever since. Like, people have been giving her valid criticism and she ignores it, and she gets angry and goes on like really childish rants on Twitter. And I thought she was like a teenager from the way she was acting. I thought she was a teenager. I didn't know much about Sia, but I found out she was like 45, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
I thought you were like 17. Like, holy shit. Like, I've lost so much respect for her. But my problem was, and I saw you get into it with some people over
name any names.
But yeah, there were a lot of people just jumping on the anti-cancel culture bandwagon, and it was very frustrating.
I've noticed that's kind of a trend lately, because people are still kind of latched onto this like anti-SJW thing, and like they've turned it into every time something's criticized or disliked, they have to go to bat for that as like a contrarian thing. Like, well, other people dislike it, so I have to defend it or like it or play devil's advocate because I have to. I don't know if they're trying to prove anything or if they just don't like the people who are making the argument. But like, since when did all criticism of everything turn into cancel culture? Because I remember an internet that was very much into criticism for a long time.
Right. People love criticizing things. People love being critical and making fun of things and being like, oh, this is dumb. This was a bad decision. Like, look, and I got mad because even people sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want to say, like, for some reason, we let the nostalgia critic get popular. We need to accept that much, right? So
I know, right?
It was a part of internet culture. Like, for some reason, he's living proof of it. And I mean, like, look, here's the thing. We on the internet, we still like to do it. We like to put everything on a microscopic lens. But that's just a word that a lot of people use to just wave, like, okay, well, this criticism isn't justified because this is going too far. Right. No, it's just something that you disagree with, just an opinion you don't want to hear, so you just try and dismiss it with a straw man, as people tend to do.
Ironically, cancel culture is trying to cancel the opinions of people they disagree with
when
it comes to like valid critique.
Yeah,
they're trying to cancel a leftist criticism.
Yeah, pretty much. Although they'll never admit it. It's usually hypocritical every time.
Right. I will say though, by the way, so I will bring up TJ for a second, because I saw you got into an argument with him, and I said something at one point where I was like, you two need to have a conversation, and I think you like misconstrued that as me just wanting like blood sports and like content, but like, honestly, I wanted to see you guys just sit down and talk that out, because I talk to TJ a lot. He's my friend, and I see him get like close to based on an issue, and then it's just like, you're so close, but then he shits the bed. And that's why I just really wanted to talk. We've actually been trying to get him on for a while so I could have this conversation with him because I was just frustrated. But he's actually he's made a video the other day that I was surprised about, where he fucking hit the nail on the head. This whole fucking cancel culture thing, this entire cancel culture thing. Yeah, come debate us, Banana Man. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Every time they bring up cancel culture, it's bullshit. It doesn't exist, and they're trying to use it to like bolster this fucking culture war once again.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because now I'm on the other side of the culture war, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the side I was once with, and I'm like, was I really that dumb? Like, the way they get people with this reactionary, contrarian bullshit, like it makes me cringe.
The only reason for the TJ thing why I kind of shot that down really quickly is because I've kind of had a similar conversation with TJ before. It was I don't remember how long ago, probably over a year, maybe 2 years ago. it was me and Jake were both talking to TJ at the same time about non-binary people specifically.
Right.
And it was sort of the same issue of just like, you know, altering your behavior in a way that like it's not unreasonable to ask you to just like listen to other people, hear them out, and then like respect other people, treat them fairly. And he kind of comes away with a take of like, well, I'll respect people, but also like fuck your feelings kind of shit.
You can't have both. I know he tries to like be an edgelord, but like, look, I know that he cares about people to some extent, and there's like no shame to caring about people to at least that basic, you know, that basic amount that I feel like people should have for like every other individual is just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Basic human respect. That's what it comes to.
For as long as I had, oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, to be fair, he actually has come over on that issue, and he's more
good.
Far more accepting of that sort of thing, and he's even been he even questioned his own gender in a stream recently, and he was like, yeah, I could maybe be a woman. That was I was like, I could feel feminine sometimes, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know?
I did and
I was like, I'm proud of you, dude. You're fucking you're growing. You're learning.
I got into him a little bit before though, because on ableism takes specifically, it's like that's the next ground that he hasn't quite pushed past, because there was a mutual of mine who is autistic and has an issue with detecting sarcasm, and TJ tweeted something sarcastic, and then the other mutual tweeted like, I really hope this is a fucking joke, because that's like not something you joke about, or like that's not something you would say seriously. Right. They couldn't read it as sarcasm. And so TJ was like really harsh on them, which I feel like, yes, I get that they seemed aggressive, but you could easily just be like, yeah, it was sarcasm. And then that's the end of it. It feels like he pokes fights sometimes when he really, like, I don't know if it's because he's bored and he like gets some sort of entertainment out of that, but I feel like it's not worth it to disrespect a person and call them shitty just because they're autistic and they couldn't understand you.
No, I agree with that. I've given him a bit of shit on some of those issues as well. And look, I overall, I can tell TJ has a good heart, and I can tell he cares about people. He has his blind spots, but like I had my fucking blind spots a year ago too, and I had fucking way more than TJ does now. So
yeah, you know, people grow and evolve and change. You know what I mean?
Exactly. As you can see here, like me and Annie have really like changed our content over the last year. I really think if you went back a year and you looked at our shit, you probably could call us alt-right. I think you made a joke calling us alt-right, and
I remember I was streaming at the same time we were having that conversation, and I remember I was just kind of laughing at the beginning because it felt like a lot of there is this sort of like machismo put on like theater to the way that you guys were running it in the beginning. And me and my chat were all kind of laughing about it because we were like, wow, it's like being taken back to like 2016. Like a lot of the people who are around me are people who are like anti-SJWs, you know, who are sucked into that. And so we all kind of had a laugh about it because it was like, oh, remember when we used to be like that?
We were kind of stuck in 2016 for a while.
I like seeing that, you guys. It feels like there's some more like down to earthness about this, and that growth is almost like that's more shocking to me than, I don't know, like everything else. It's just it feels mature. Like you guys have grown up some.
Well, I try.
Look at this. This is an official endorsement. I've never been right wing. Look at that. Look at that. So look, someone in the chat says it. A good never mind, it's a good friend of mine. Just disregard that fact. It's not a biased person at all.
I didn't say we were right wing. I said, look, I could see how someone from the outside could look at us and be like, sure. Kind of alt-right-ish.
Yeah, maybe if they caught the wrong video, I could see them getting that perception.
Right.
See, there's an issue too where some people will say, well, I'm not alt-right. I'm actually like center or left, but I just don't like SJWs. But they don't realize that when you do that, you're just helping the right-wing narrative, and you're just pushing, like, at the end of the day, what that does is that's going to grow people over to more extreme right-wing views.
Exactly.
Like people like Ben Shapiro. Like eventually they'll find their way over there through the wrecked feminist compilations, you know? So it's not useful, and the culture war is really just a way for them to try to recruit people who, I don't know, they want to be edgy, or they just don't want to deal with rules or being nice to people.
Congratulations, Berserk. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Red anarchist
Character
atheist
progression.
equal.
See, that's character progression right there. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude. But no, absolutely, and that's why, like, I really do feel like I'm sick of this culture war shit. I really do feel like it's just, and that's why I now have a completely different take on it as before. Before I was just kind of like, I don't care. You know, you want to fight your social battles for these like pet issues that you think are important, then go do that. But I don't fucking care. And now I'm kind of like, well, I can see the culture war now more for what it is, and the left didn't start the culture war. All people on the left wanted was fucking acceptance. All trans people and gay people and black people and Hispanic people have ever fucking wanted is acceptance, and the right has pushed back at every fucking step. The same way they pushed back in the 60s during the civil rights movement, or back during slavery, and when you look at it, it's a lot of the same fucking arguments. They use a lot of the same bullshit fucking arguments that have been used to oppress people for fucking ever. And it's like, so at the end of the day, you're either for the culture war, you're either for equality and acceptance, or you're against it. And if you're someone who claims to not care, but then you still jump on a culture war narrative that is, it's the narrative that the right wing is pushing. I'm sorry, you are effectively on their side, and you are effectively anti-equality.
Yeah.
And that's what I was a year ago.
There's also an element to it. This kind of factors in a weird series of Twitter arguments I've had lately, but this whole culture war kind of thing has also been used in ways to distract people from like the real issues that they're facing that are making them have the experience the problems they're having. Like, this is the stupidest shit I've been arguing with recently, but people are like, they're trying to take away my titties in my video games. And I'm like, okay, so valid criticism is that Sony is censoring some games from selling on their platform if they have sexual content. And what they don't see isn't that the Sony is an SJW company that wants to censor their titties. It's that Sony is a capitalist company that wants to make money and and they have the full rights to their platform to distribute whatever they want. And that's a problem with capitalism, not with SJWs or feminists or whatever that is. Like, they don't understand how to fix their own problems on their own issues because they've been sold like a scapegoat to yell at. And meanwhile, the companies are still going to go on doing whatever the fuck they want to do.
I do want to talk about something that someone in the chat said a little bit earlier, because it is something a friend of mine said. I do kind of disagree though. So they say right here, on that I disagree. Cancel culture is certainly a thing. I don't want to derail the conversation, but I've seen a fairly innocent man have people stalk his online projects for over a year now to try and stop getting anyone he collabs with to cut ties with him over stupid little shit. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, that's the thing though. Like, that's like stalker shit. That's like e-stalker shit. Right. No one's endorsing that. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like the whole like term, like, no one can really agree what cancel culture is, right? Isn't it kind of just used as like a straw man to, like, you know, like people I don't know. That's all I really see about it. I don't think take issues individually, right? You know what I mean?
I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's a fucking a hate campaign. I think that's a targeted harassment campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And those are always bad. Those are always bad. And I know what that person's talking about, by the way, and I know Jamie does too. But yeah, that's completely unacceptable. That shit's wrong. But I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find someone who actually gets behind that. in most cases. I'm sure you can find someone who would say that, but
like there might be even some people who like all like this, just like the culture war, which I don't think the culture war was originally real. I think these right-wing ideologues made it real. These you know, these dipshits spreading this fucking fear-mongering narrative, and like now it kind of is a culture war.
Well, it's cancel culture is just a rebrand of politically correct.
Right.
In the 90s, like 90s and early 2000s, it was just called being politically correct. If you were like, you know, you actually cared about how it would make people feel when you said shitty things, or if you know, and
Empathy, gay.
yeah, like having empathy for other human beings. Ugh, gross. So it was always called politically correct, and now, you know, that's kind of worn off. It doesn't really work on people anymore. So they were like, can't cancel culture. That's the big new evil thing you have to worry about. And in most cases, it's not going to, like, okay, it's consequences for your actions in a lot of cases. Like,
Right.
you did something shitty, and the public is going to have a reaction to the actions that you take. Like, that's just the consequences
Right.
of what you do. If you're an asshole to people, they're probably not going to put up with it. But when it comes to media figures, I mean, this has been happening before we've ever had the term cancel culture.
Right.
The bigger you get, the more you're going to have weird, creepy hate stalkers and shit like that. It's just, that's common with anyone who has any kind of following.
Yeah. That and honestly, I think another element to it that a lot of people forget is, if you have a platform, if you are some kind of celebrity or e-celebrity or what the fuck ever, you have a platform and you have power essentially over the people that follow you. And I know I've heard people say like, oh, well, we shouldn't be looking up to like celebrities. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that gives them an inherent power dynamic over anyone who listens to them, so that they can either just, you know, control the way people think or take real advantage of people, as we've seen happen a lot on YouTube. Like,
yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people get caught up in abuse scandals and shit like that, because parasocial relationships are just so
right.
you know, especially for younger people. And nowadays, so much of our world is online, and that's how we connect with people. And like, if you're a 14-year-old who watches, like, I don't know, a Minecraft YouTuber every day of your life, you might feel like that person's your friend, because, like, you know,
Yeah.
you listen to that voice, you see these people every single day. And, you know, that kind of environment, while I find it nice that the internet can bring us all together, there's also a lot more we have to worry about as far as how people can, you know, abuse that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yo, everybody. By the way, this is weird. An ad's playing over the stream, but I can still hear you. Hey, we gotta get that 10 cents. We gotta get that fucking 10 cents. Yo, what's up, Chelsea? We got Chelsea. Sup, Chelsea?
What up?
How are you doing?
But yeah, no, I just think it's important to remember that, like, these people that we're giving a platform, and it is a privilege. Like, I think a lot of people act like, you know, these people that are celebrities for one reason or another, they have a right to their platform. They have a right to their position as a celebrity. No, that's a privilege that we give them by, you know, supporting them. And what they do. And if they abuse that power, there should be consequences. They should face accountability. That's why I don't believe in a cancel culture. I believe in an accountability culture.
Yeah.
A culture that can have conversations. And hey, by the way, not every conversation about something or someone being problematic is going to necessarily lead to them being canceled or censored.
Exactly. That's the thing. I want appropriate, you know, reactions for shit that people have done poorly. I don't want everybody, you know, I want nuance, you know. I don't want everybody to, like, you know, be punished in the exact same way, because that's fucking absurd. Like, you know, there's varying degrees of being an asshole, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's various levels of accountability for people.
I have this argument a lot because of the fact that I'm in, like, social in circles of people who have been canceled quite a few times. And I've had people come to me with it because I've like, for instance, the last time I did a gaming stream with like Shu and Vosh and all of those people, I got spammed with people who were like, you support this pedophile and
Oh my God.
this alt-right shoe on head and everything like that. And like,
I'm so tired of arguing against people who just like hate you because you associate or are pro Vosh in any way. And it's like, he's a pedophile. And it's like, oh my God, I've debunked this a million times. He's debunked this a million times. Stop.
It's
do the research.
At this point, I've gotten to where it's just like, okay, these people are probably going to hate him, and that's fine.
Right.
I don't really feel one way or the other about Vosh. I think that regardless of how anyone feels about him, he's got one of the biggest platforms in the political space right now for the left, and nothing you can do about screaming about how he's problematic on Twitter is really going to take that from him. So it would be better to approach the situation with nuance. And actually, if you feel like he's fucked up in some way, he's shown growth, and I think that if you approach him in the correct way, like, he would actually change.
Wait a minute. You're not saying have a conversation with somebody, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I know it's difficult, but
that's one of the problems. Yeah, it is. That's one of the problems, though, like growth, dude. Like, people don't want to accept the fact that people can grow and they can change. And like, everyone just wants to like hold this vendetta against people that because of shit they once believed or views they once held. And it's like, and this is something that Vosh talks about a lot that I'm really, I really agree with. Like, we are way too fucking gatekeepy on the left sometimes. We need to stop. We need to stop. People, if we don't allow people to come over, then how are we ever going to fucking expect people to grow?
In my experience, whenever I was in that sort of anti-SJW space, whenever I was in like high school to college, a lot of the gateway for me understanding things like privilege or just like the struggles of the Black community, or even within my own community in LGBT, like, there were a lot of things I didn't understand because if I said something against it, I was shouted down, and whenever I tried to get somebody to explain it to me, I would get the "it's not my job to educate you" shit like that. And it took me longer than it probably should have to come around on some of those issues because, like, I had to find people who were able to educate me on those topics. Right. And I feel like if you're gonna take up like a social, and I understand, if you're part of a marginalized community, it isn't your job to educate people. And unfortunately, it's put upon you to have to advocate for your own rights. Like, I see this all the time with trans creators specifically, who literally are like, I just want to make video games content, but then I have to argue with TERFs online because they come for me, you know? And
I've already resigned myself. I'm gonna be a political content creator as long as I'm on here. There's no avoiding it.
I'm not. I can't do that. Not full time. Like, I want to talk political shit on here sometimes, but I gotta do games shit and other stuff.
Sorry, Annie, you're trans now. You have to forever have the trans debate online.
You're now a TRA. That's the new term.
Oh, jeez, gonna have to keep up. Gonna have to fucking keep up. So, Ben Shapiro.
You want to get to Ben Shapiro? Okay.
Yeah, we probably won't last 20 seconds, but
okay, he says a lot of words in those 20 seconds.
Just ask Lord of Patriarchy. I fucking tap out on these videos like 10 seconds in, and he fucking wonder. Wait, you actually know who he is? I don't have to explain it to you.
We actually have a running feud on Jake's channel. I manage his YouTube. So I produce all the videos, and I've had to do so many clips of whenever he goes after Lord of Patriarchy, mostly Dave's cooking show. And oh boy.
Yeah, that's some of the worst. We've had several debates with Lord of Patriarchy on this channel, and we just introduced him to another channel that's adjacent to us, the Geek Room, and a bunch of people. He's been introduced to this whole community of people who are just completely roasting him and seeing him for the first time, and it's amazing because He's an asshole. He deserves it. Like, you know what I mean? He's
is
the epitome.
Oh boy, I don't even know how to get through to that. I don't know if that's even possible.
I don't know either, but I know that the more people pwn his ass, like the more people are likely to like. Maybe someone who watches him will be like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of stupid." Because I don't know, dude. Like honestly, and by the way, that's one of my biggest reasons for going after other content creators in general. I'm not going after them as a person. I'm going after the people that watch them and listen to the dumb fuck shit that they say.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse of the cringe feminist compilation, you know? Like,
is there a certain topic Sarah's on to discuss? We're just talking about, I don't know, we just kind of wanted to talk about like a little bit about our last conversation, and so we have a few videos that we wanted to chat about and stuff like that. But,
hell yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's do the Ben Shapiro clip here.
This is basically just this is just a show where we have a bunch of conversations. Basically, it's kind of a, I don't know, we can call it a banter episode, I suppose.
A banter episode, yes.
Yeah, a banter episode. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Do I, at least now it's in my power to like take it off screen. You know.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anna can't do a Ben Shapiro impression. Can you?
No.
Oh God, I'm trying to see if I can.
Wet ass p words.
Technically,
You had the cadence down there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch. This video is titled "LOL When the Cancelers Get Canceled."
Oh shit!
Like when your grandma sends you a text, like an email.
Yeah, it's all right, Grandpa. Whatever you say.
This is the remaking of America in real time on the basis of equity rhetoric that is essentially unfair. That is the goal. And if you don't go along with it, you will be cudgeled. If you refuse to go along with this stuff, you will be cudgeled.
Dramatic.
The media will simply lie to you.
Yeah, he looked into a thesaurus before doing this video, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, when I talk about the cudgeling, let's talk about the cudgeling for a moment. So,
that sounds
over the weekend,
gross.
In what has to be the most amusing turn, you remember that Alexi McCammon was going to be the editor of Teen Vogue, that great prestigious publication Teen Vogue. Not just Vogue, Teen Vogue.
Oh my God, move on.
Now it turns out that one of the people who backed Alexi McCammon's ouster,
10 seconds in, and I'm like,
senior
get on with it.
Teen Vogue staffer, Alexi McCammon was thrown out because Alexi McCammon, when she was 17, wrote anti-Asian tweets. That was a decade ago. Now, a senior Teen Vogue staffer who backed Alexi McCammon being fired, it turns out that this lady wrote a bunch of tweets back in 2009, 2010 like, using the N-word.
We all know that's what it sounds like.
Christine Davitt, senior social manager.
So he's basically just... he's not even getting to the point. He's basically just bitching because, like, oh, see, now the fucking people on the left are getting canceled. See, you know...
It's just like, yeah, some people have shitty histories. Usually a lot of people when they were kids said really fucked up things. Like,
yeah, and I'm anti that. And honestly, see, here's the problem. This is the problem because Ben Shapiro gets to like call this shit out and he gets to look like the reasonable one because he's pointing out, see how the left is canceling themselves now. Oh, they love cancel culture, but now it's biting them in the ass. Or sorry, the A word.
Biting them in the wet ass A word.
It's sad because like there should be more people on the left calling this behavior out. There really should be. We should be calling this shit out and be like, guys, stop fucking attacking someone and going after them because shit they said years ago that they clearly don't fucking still believe.
Yeah, 10 years ago. I was saying that, like, I'm fortunate in that a lot of my internet history is not available to most people because, like, I was back on Tumblr in the day and I pretty much nuked that. I think it should be a standard going forward on social media to wipe your shit after so many years. Yeah,
probably
clean slate because kids going forward nowadays that are being bounced around between all these extreme political ideologies are gonna have a fucking hard time getting anywhere with.
That's very true.
You could just search back in anyone's history years.
Right. And the problem is, like, a lot of people, like, a lot of people get indoctrinated into these belief systems. A lot of people either get, pulled into alt-right communities that prey on, lonely people that don't have any friends, or they get groomed into it or indoctrinated into it by their fucking parents.
Yeah.
And they say dipshit things. I have
There's also like the religious angle, you know what I mean? Just like you were talking about.
Yeah, no, I have young family members that are indoctrinated into shit, that believe and say fucked up shit, and probably post it on fucking social media. I don't know what they're gonna do in fucking 10 years, Like, I don't want that shit to be haunting someone forever. You have to be able, like, we have to be able to accept that people can grow and change and learn from their mistakes. Otherwise, they're never gonna do it.
I just want to say, by the way, in response to what Chelsea said, like, I think you already summarized that we don't agree. Like, we think that it's important for people to evolve. That's kind of the entire point of this stream, is that we've evolved our political opinions over the past year and shit, right? But no, I for one think that Kyle Kalinski's old tweets are treasures of internet history.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh man,
I think Kyle Kalinski's new shit is what he should be embarrassed by, personally.
Oh wow.
I'm not impressed by his recent takes.
Look, he's okay.
He's okay. Yeah.
I think the irony of this is that it's very much like the James Gunn situation where what was his name? The conservative guy that got him in trouble and almost got him fired from Marvel entirely over some joke tweets he had years ago.
I have no idea. I don't remember his name.
Conservatives do the exact same dirty shit all the time if they think that they could use it against somebody.
Yeah, it's just other people aren't allowed to call it cancel culture, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, do you want to watch any more of this, or do you want to go to the other video?
Of course I don't want to watch any more of this. Ben Shapiro.
Why would we? Yeah, no, I just thought it was I wanted to make the point here specifically that, like, again, because, like, Ben Shapiro, on the surface, I can kind of agree with kind of the sentiment here, which is like, yeah, this is dumb to, like, hold people to account for shit they used to believe and don't anymore. But, like, again, we need to be the ones pushing that message, because this fucking dude, like, this is how he pulls people over, and makes the left look and, like, ridiculous.
He, like, plays it up too, because he knows that they're gonna eat that shit up as, like, oh, this is so important that we need to worry about.
Yeah. He's got no substance. He knows he's got no personality, so he has to put it all in style and substance. I mean, the style and flair, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I gotta have a set, gotta edit it, gotta make it look nice. That's all he has. Because if you actually listen closely to what he's saying, you'll see the bullshit real fucking fast.
It's like evangelical preachers.
Yeah, it's very true. When you can listen all you want, and it's meant to be like junk food for your mind. But when you actually start listening, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let's take a look at, I guess, Rob Smith online, our good friend.
Oh God. Fine. I guess.
You guess?
I suppose.
I've not heard of this.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. So Rob Smith online is a content creator that we've been kind of making fun of here for a while. He is a right-wing black gay conservative dipshit, and he's yeah, I know
it got more confusing with every single word.
Every adjective you kept going on.
Yeah.
It's
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and one of my pet peeves with this guy is that he's constantly, like, as a gay person, he's doing, like, LGBT gatekeeping and being like, like, oh, like, these trans people, like, why should we accept trans people into our movement? Us gay people have fought for actual equality, and these trans people come in and try to ruin it with their bullshit. And I guess he's doing more of that here.
The TPUSA shirt already.
Yeah, dude. He's
oh man,
this is a based individual.
The video is bad when you can make a quip before it even begins.
All right, we have to try to sit through this one. It's only 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, we usually do get through his videos. They're pretty short. Okay, let's take a listen.
Right now, Elliot Page, the actor formerly known as Ellen Page, is on the cover of Time magazine talking about
You gotta do
his
that.
transition and his.
Of course they do.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
you know
because
that's unnecessary.
their tiny conservative brain will get confused if they don't remind everyone what the person used to be called. I mean, yeah.
Memory of a goldfish, basically.
Yeah,
Jamie
that's the thing.
Darkay, formerly known as Jay Darkay, formerly a male content creator on YouTube.
Yeah,
now,
I know, right? Might as
now
well
a transgender SJW.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy.
I agree.
His desire to be an actor and an LGBT activist and all of this other stuff. And this is something that should give all of us pause right now. So let's break down exactly what is happening right here. So we have Ellen, now Elliot Page, talking about
there
how
it is again.
he can't.
Yeah, I know. Like, his name is Elliot. It's not hard. And he didn't even do, like, at least the first time he did it, he said Elliot, formerly known as Ellen Page. Now he just called him Ellen, and said, yeah. Like, just fucking call someone by, like, this is the thing. I feel like conservatives go out of their way to be disrespectful like this, and it actually trips them up when they speak more than if they would just, he, him, Elliot, yep. Yeah. Like, they have to refer to it constantly and make it a thing and make a point of it.
Maybe that's why they claim it's so difficult. It's because they can't not think about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna make any insinuations here. He's gay, so I have no idea. Maybe he is actually struggling with his mixed feelings for Elliot Page. Maybe takes a look at Elliot. He's like, god damn it, he's hot, but he used to have a pussy. I can't. Or maybe still does. Who knows? No shame.
All right. Well,
Became a transgender, got a divorce, got top surgery. And what top surgery is
Wait,
when
did he get a
female to
divorce?
male.
I have no idea.
I thought that his wife said that they... Wait. Okay, I have to look this up now.
wait, this guy could potentially be spreading misinformation.
He could.
No way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
He filed for divorce from Emma Porter. They've only been married for 3 years. So it sounds like they basically made the decision together. Okay.
Right.
So it's
Like,
kind of like we're going to go our separate ways, but we still love each other. We're still friends.
Yeah, I don't know what him being trans has to do with their divorce.
Yeah, why is this necessary? Like, why does we have to have everything laid out? And like now he's about to explain what top surgery is. Like, just get to your point on the whole situation.
Badly, by the way.
We all know the fucking context of what's gone on here, right? It was in the news for weeks and weeks.
Oh, it's gonna get worse. What's
It's
that?
gonna get worse.
Transgender people basically remove their breasts, right? So that is what top surgery is. So Elliot Page had their breasts removed so that he could become a man, right? And so this is something that
Not so that he could become a man, because he's a man.
He was a man, yeah. Because
Yeah.
he is a man. It's clunky, but I don't have a whole lot of issues so far with him explaining top surgery to boomers.
No, sure.
It's pretty accurate outside of the to
I
become
just
a
didn't-
man.
Yeah, I get annoyed by that language because there's people that think like, oh, I hate the term transgender surgery or whatever, where it's just like, oh,
have you
or
had the surgery
sex
yet?
change operation. Yeah, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna have a surgery to become a woman. It's like, no, you have a surgery to reaffirm the gender you already are.
Yeah.
If you want it, you don't have to get bottom surgery either. But yeah, no, there's no, it gets worse. Well,
Oh boy.
It gets worse.
is being given sort of the full court press when it comes to being pushed in the mainstream liberal media. He's on the cover of Time magazine, right?
Oh, the
and
liberal
this is something
media.
that should be giving a
oh no, the media is pro-trans. What a disaster. They're being nice to a trans actor. I mean, hey, you know what? It's nice to have some fucking trans representation in Hollywood that's not just fucking
The Danish girl.
what's her name? Yeah, I was why can't I remember Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah.
Oh, Caitlyn Jenner,
Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner.
Like, yeah, it's nice to have some better trans representation. Like, I could get it when they would shit on Caitlyn Jenner, because Caitlyn Jenner is a genuinely horrible person.
Yeah, an actually bad person, but you know, that aside, it's nice to have an actually good person, you know, as representation. So
yeah,
100%.
A lot of people pause. So first of all, there's nothing anti-trans about this. Questioning the transgender agenda.
Whoa.
The fact that you call it that.
You can't just say this isn't transphobic and then say the transphobic thing. Like, that's not how that works. It's like saying there's nothing racist about saying X racist remark, you know?
Yeah.
The transgender agenda, you know, the agenda for people to just live their lives how they want to live, you know, the ultimate freedom of just being who you are. Wow, such a horrible agenda. It's funny to me how gay people have latched onto that too. Like, does he not realize, like, 5-10 years ago they were saying the gay agenda? Literally those words. How do you not realize you're just doing the same shit all over again?
Yeah, that's what makes me mad about him. It's like he's even admitted, like, oh, we fought for civil rights for gay people and we know what it's really all about. It's like, if you know, then you should understand that we're fighting the same fucking battle right now, and that this shit, you're basically perpetuating the same arguments that conservatives used against you fucking decades ago, and now you're just fucking. You've basically just flipped sides because now you're widely accepted.
You're past the line now. The conservatives can't legislate you out of existence like they're trying to do with trans people. So it's like, why throw your community under the bus like that? It doesn't make sense.
Because they don't want trans people as part of their communities. They want to be a bunch of pick-me's and be like, oh no, we're the good LGBTs. We're the good queers.
Oh God, it just makes me feel. It reminds me of Blair White in every way.
But let me guess, Jamie. Jamie, the video gets worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of actually.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, how does it keep getting worse?
That's what this guy does. That's his specialty, honestly.
Oh, wow.
In trans identity in general is not anti, it's just questioning, because in America we are allowed to ask questions about things. And the question that I have is, why is the mainstream
and I'm allowed
media,
to say that's a stupid fucking question.
this person up as some sort of idol to be worshipped by so many young women, by the way, who may be struggling with their sexuality or their sexual orientation and their gender identity.
No. We're doing the thing. They're doing unironically doing the irreversible damage beam. This is where they fail to see the point, in that it's not women who are idolizing him. It's trans men who are in the closet or who haven't come out yet in some way, or haven't discovered that, like, trans people are going to exist, and it's important to have representation of trans people in media. And trans men
for those people.
Trans men and trans masculine people are rarely focused on, because they get
barely any representation. Barely any.
Like, trans women are focused on so much more because of the whole narrative of, like, men and women's spaces and all that other bullshit. Trans men are largely ignored in their existence. So Elliot Page coming out like that was like a huge fucking deal. That's why there's a media storm around it. Like, a huge actor comes out, and, you know, trans men barely have representation. Of course it's going to blow up in the media.
No, it's immoral.
How the fuck can I be trans? I don't even exist. Damn. Wow. Mind blowing. You know what? Streams up. No, I'm just fucking kidding. Look at that dude. Look at that. Take a good look at that dude. Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Let's listen a little more. He'll keep here.
There's an epidemic of this going on right now, and there's a really amazing book called Irreversible Damage.
You didn't know what that word meant before COVID.
I called it.
Yep, you did.
Irreversible damage.
Of course, he brings up that book. That book has been so widely discredited, and it's so clear, by the way, that like all the expert opinions from parents of trans people. This is shit that's anecdotal evidence from trans parents that don't accept their fucking kids. That are like, oh well, yeah, it must
All
have
of
been
a
these
sudden,
people
my
that.
kid is trans.
Like, you could probably get my parents to fucking, in fact, I know you definitely could get my parents to fucking contribute to a book like that and be like, oh, let me tell you, I think it's the media and I think it's these demonic influences and that they're Marilyn Manson music.
We asked a bunch of people who hate ice cream what they think of ice cream, and they said they fucking hated it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. That's a perfect analogy. That's exactly what he's fucking doing.
It's
or what that book is doing.
Again, it's literally the exact same shit as like when they were like the gay agenda is turning your children into homos, and they're gonna have sex with other guys and shit like that was the thing. Like you could be converted into being gay, and it's just the same shit, but trans people now.
See, this guy pretending to be one of the good gays is actually like, so he's pro-gay rights, but he's anti that shit. Because obviously we shouldn't be telling kids about any LGBT issues at all.
So he's only hypothetically in favor of it. In actuality, he's not.
Like, yeah. I think people forget, like, I'm sorry, trans people and gay people were once kids, and they didn't just become trans or gay. They've always been that way. And if they had a better support through their childhood, like we like to talk, the right likes to dishonestly bring up fucking suicide statistics. Like, I'm sorry, the fucking suicide rate spikes up when you don't have parents and family that are supportive. If kids were raised in a supportive environment, they wouldn't go and fucking kill themselves. Like, not nearly as much anyway. Like, this is so like.
Yeah, and we know that conversion therapy doesn't work. They've tried it for so long, and the LGBT community has suffered the same shit over and over. It's like on a loop. And I don't know why other gay people or like lesbian, gay, bi, anyone else in the community that's not trans thinks that, like, what, are they gonna save themselves because they threw trans people under the bus? Like, what's the logic there? Do you think that once like, I said this today, you get your goal, trans people are all gone. Like, you either fucking tortured them out of existence, they're not allowed to be around. Who do you think is going to be next? Who do you think the conservatives are going to focus on next? It's going to be gay people again.
Well, I think that's why they're throwing trans people under the bus, though, is because they remember the time when gay people were on the outs, and they're like, nope, we're good now. We're on the inside. We don't want to be the ones shit on. So they like they think, okay, if we just shit on the trans people and keep them in the spotlight for long enough, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I'm not like those people. Those people are crazy, but I'm like normal. Please accept me,
I'm not normal, bitch. Like, that's the fucked up thing. Like, I've met so many people, and the more people I meet, and the more like experiences I have and like living life and shit, the more I realize everyone is pretty much the same. You can like try and otherize people all you want and be like, oh, that group acts like this, or this group is like whatever. But like, at the end of the day, we're all fucking human beings.
We're all individuals. You know what I mean? Yeah. Also, I want to bring up something that Chelsea said right here. When I came out, my mom brought that up. Like, if you're gay, you're more likely to kill yourself. Why do you think that is? Because people get responses like that when they come out to their fucking parents.
Have you considered not being homophobic? And then maybe I wouldn't feel fucking upset by that.
Exactly, right? Maybe that's a you issue and not, me.
I just would have been like, I am more likely to kill myself. Thanks, Mom. And then just hand her some statistics and walk away. Because I'm fucking serious. Like, it's so like it makes me mad that like parents don't think of these things and they view it as like, no, they're trying to steal our children. Because overall, I really do think there is a problem with the way parents view their children, where it's like, no, that's my child. I'm going to raise them how I want to raise them. And they view anything that might influence them to become anything less than exactly what they wanted to be a negative influence and someone that's trying to steal their children away. So the gay agenda is coming to steal your children. No, motherfucker, your children are individuals. They have their own fucking identities. They can fucking be free to be themselves, and they're not always going to be what you fucking want them to be. In fact, they're very rarely going to turn out exactly how you fucking want them. That shouldn't be the fucking reason to have a child. It should be to have a fucking child.
Yeah.
And see what they become, who they turn into.
There are a lot of parents who have a hard time letting go of their kids as like mini me's. And it's like, that's not going to happen. Eventually, your kid is going to grow up. They're either going to be gay or they're going to start getting into, like, I don't know, music you don't like. They're going to experiment with fashion. They're going to cut their hair. They're going to, like, that's just what people do. You explore your identity, and that's normal. Everyone does it. And this idea that it's like you need to control your child, because I went through that. Like, fucking, I painted my nails black, and my mom had a conniption fit for the first time I ever did that. You know, it was just like, the satanic influence, you know?
How unorthodox. How unorthodox.
It's
How
just,
dare you.
you gotta let your kid live and have experiences, and they're not gonna grow up to be everything you want. The idea that you should have is to make sure that your kid grows up happy and healthy. That is like the only things you should worry about.
Here's a response from Justin. I really don't understand why my mom has been acting so devastated ever since my sister came out as trans. Like, fuck, she acts like it's a damn death. She's cried over it.
Yep. My mom did the same thing about me too. And like, I'm just sitting here being like, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life, and you're acting like this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Because for parents like this, they act like it's happening to them. They act like they don't even think about their fucking child and their well-being and their feelings. It's about, how could this happen to me? I thought I raised the perfect child, but now they've turned into this.
The thing is that, like, you could still love your kid. They're still your kid. Like, you should still, nothing is stopping you from being able to love them. It doesn't make sense to me.
This comes back to like because honestly, they don't have good depictions of trans people in media, and a lot of parents, they've never met a trans person, so they imagine this caricature. They imagine this like sexual deviant predator, this like weirdo or whatever, that like or like I don't know, fucking drag queens hanging on fucking street corners. Which I'm not even saying any of those things are bad, but like parents like have like an association. Normies in general have like an association of this is what it means to be trans, and until like that's one of the things, like, to go back to like depictions in media, Glee, like I whatever issues some people have with that show, I think they did a really good job at depicting a gay character, multiple gay characters that were sympathetic and seemed like normal people. That and I know my mom, she didn't love gay people after that, but she was a little bit more, okay, I kind of get it. Like, they're people too, and they have feelings, and she kind of learned to sympathize with them more. And that's why depictions in media are
it's
important.
sad that like media can be more useful than real people in a lot of cases for getting that sort of empathy, but it is true, it's a useful tool and we can't ignore it, even though it is a little bit sad that's the case, right?
Well, I mean, just by statistics, like, most people, I think, aren't going to encounter a trans person in their life just due to sheer numbers. Like, what trans people make up, is it like 1%? I think they've estimated that it's like, it could be as high as 3% of the world's population, which is still millions of people, but it's also like, that's a very small amount of people, and you may never know a trans person in your whole life. But if you watch TV or you watch movies or something, and you see a trans person in a show or a movie, and you can empathize with them, then you get it. You're like, oh, they're just like me.
Right. And that's why a lot of people don't have that for a lot of groups. I mean, I remembered growing up. I mean, when I was really young, I would see like black people in movies and TV shows, and I thought black people were a certain way. Then I started to, see more black, go to a church with more black people. I was like, oh no, black people are normal, and I befriended a lot of them. And then I thought I mean, goddamn, I was raised to believe, and this is kind of one of the things that helped me to realize I was trans. I was raised to believe men and women are different in like so many ways. Women are basically a different species from you, okay?
Yeah.
And they have a completely different way of thinking, and it's not rational and it's not normal, and you'll never understand it. And as I grew up, I found myself more and more empathizing with women and understanding women more and like relating better. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe there's just something wrong with me. And then like the more like I met different women and like actually got to know them as people, I realized a lot of my preconceived notions were fucking bullshit. Right down to like my parents telling me, oh no, video games are for boys and girls don't play video games. And then like I'm married to someone who's fucking a woman who's better at video games than I've ever fucking been. And I've met women who can kick cis women who can kick my ass at fucking video games, and it's just like all these different things, all these different preconceived notions of like this is what men want and what women want, or like it's just all bullshit. And
it's like a feedback loop too, because like they'll say this is how men and women are, and then so people fall into those expectations, and then they keep passing it on when really you were just told that's how you were supposed to be, and you never did anything else. And so they just think that's how it always has been.
Exactly. People don't like questioning their perceived
very true
reality.
Yeah. Oh man, I have to question myself and think about other people's perspectives. Fuck that. No way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say also too. You mentioned like viewing Black people a certain way. My parents were pretty overtly racist in front of me for most of my childhood, and something there like I grew up in a sort of, it was mostly white neighborhood. So I never really had experiences around Black people, and I knew that I had biases in me like that. I noticed this as a child because the first time I made a Black friend in school, I was like, I remember like writing in my diary or something like, oh, they're like really cool. And I didn't expect that because like my fucking parents ruined me. And the thing that might have actually broken that in a way where I was able to realize it too was I liked watching shows like fucking Fresh Prince. I really love Static Shock, and like seeing Black people tell their own stories in that way, in a way that I could relate and I understand. And then I would see they would address systemic issues of racism. And then I would go, that's something my parents never told me was a thing.
It's funny that you bring that up too, because Static Shock and Fresh Prince, those are two shows that I loved as a kid. The person whose comment I have up right here too, Justin Bird, I know he loves those two shows too. So yeah, it's like it goes to show media goes a long way, a huge way. But yeah, I guess I'll read out his comment here too. I really expected better of her since she apologized for the "where did I go wrong" reaction when my sister and I came out as atheists as kids. That's well, hopefully they'll come around on the other thing too. You know what I mean?
They're gonna have different reactions though, because like my parents had a different reaction to me coming out as an atheist. They were mad, but they always were like, "Oh, we can pull you back. You're just on your journey. You've fallen away from God for now, but eventually you're gonna come back to it. You know, it's fine." Like they could like fool themselves to believe that, but when they're told shit like irreversible damage, like they think, oh my God, my child is going down a road of perversion and sickness, and this is irreversible. They will never come back from it. And oh my God, this is so scary and terrible. My child might as well be dead.
Fear mongering.
Because they're going to hell anyway. Like that's and by the way, like there are a lot of people that do believe if you're trans, you're going to hell. And that's why a lot of parents have those reactions too.
Yeah, if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
My mom was devoutly Catholic, and so whenever I came out as atheist to her, I got that whole. She cried and was like, oh, "I don't want you to go to hell. I love you," and all that kind of stuff. And I never came out as bi to my parents after that experience, because fuck knows, I was like, I don't even know how to approach that topic.
Right.
And then I lost my mom around, I think I was 14 years old. So like I never got to tell her. And my dad was never a religious person, but he definitely still had biases that he would show about gay people, like when he talked about people he knew that were gay and stuff like that. So I just never talked about it to him to this day.
Damn. I mean, I didn't talk to my parents about it either. I let them hear about it from other people.
I feel like at this point, if my dad hasn't picked it up from other family members, he's really not paying attention. So that's on him.
My Sunday school class taught me that women had next rib.
Oh my
Mine
God.
did too. Mine did too. I thought that for the longest time.
I thought that as well for the longest time.
I actually asked my wife about that, and she was like, "No." She's like, "What? How could you believe that?" I don't know. I was taught that for like ever. Like that was, but that's the problem. There are a lot of things that are just really ridiculous that a lot of people are just taught as fact. Like, this is fact. This is how men are. This is how women are. This is how this is. And like, there is
Can't question it.
Yeah, it's anything else is like a perversion or something that's like trying to, like the left is trying to come in and like you know, postmodernism. They're trying to get rid of facts and shit. You know, trying to overwrite science. Oh, now the right suddenly cares about science, even though it's their fucking misinformed interpretation of it.
Well, yeah, they're only using it to beat down other people. They don't actually give a fuck about science.
Yeah. No, they use it as a convenient tool for their arguments, but then ignore it 90% of the time. So let's see. Do you want to continue this?
We'll see. I'd like to see where else he's got to go other than the bringing up the book and everything like that.
Yeah, the book made me mad. The minute I heard him bring up the book, I was like, okay, I'm talking about this.
Yeah. Every time trans men comes up, it's always that book.
After we get off this video, we'll talk about one quick thing because
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll get to
and then we'll wrap this shit up. Yeah,
dope.
That talks about how this sort of transgender craze is mainly affecting young women, right?
Craze.
And so
craze.
now
You treat it like it's fucking a game of Pogs. Fuck you.
Yeah. Wait, also, what it says that it's mainly affecting young women. No, it's not. Trans women are way more common than trans men.
I think it's just because they also assume that every like non-binary person is also AFAB, which isn't the case, but that's like a common perception for some reason.
Right.
Maybe it's because a lot of non-binary like born male people that I know, they present like they'll go back and forth on how they present, and most people will still assume that they're a man, which is stupid. They're non-binary and they could you know, present however the fuck they want. But people think that non-binary means you have to be androgynous. So I think they just perceive the femme side of that as, oh, those are the trans people, and then they totally ignore masculine presenting people.
Yeah, that's very true.
But guys, what of the lesbians? They're erasing lesbians.
Message that a lot of these people are going to be getting is that if you think that you're trans, go ahead and go through with the surgery, do all of these things.
Oh my God, I hate this straw man. Like, they're just trying to push you to go ahead and do this and do that and make unreversible changes. No, bitch, there's like years of therapy, especially if you're underage. There's years of therapy that you go through and hormone treatments. It's not just like, this is the problem, because there's still this like perceived notion within popular culture that like, becoming trans is just something that you do. It's a switch that you flip. You go, you have the surgery, and that's that. And it doesn't work that way.
So I have two close trans women friends. One of them is Hannah, and another one is a friend that isn't like public online. But I've had to watch them both go through the very extensive process of getting psychological evaluations, going to multiple doctor trips, and Hannah would have to drive all the way to Detroit, drive 2 hours back to back to go to a specialist in order to go see anyone about even getting approved for hormones.
I've heard another friend talk about this same issue.
Yeah,
it's insane. The hoops that they make them go through is absolutely insane.
She didn't she came out to us, and then it took her probably at least 3 to 4 months before, after she came out to us publicly, to even start getting on HRT. And she hasn't even gotten to do anything surgical whatsoever. She's raising money for it, but that's something that's still ahead in the future. She's only recently been able to get electrolysis appointments for hair removal and things like that. It's such a lengthy process with so many hoops to jump through. And she didn't get to start on T blockers until I think a couple months in, just starting HRT and shit like that. It takes time, and there's so much, so many steps.
That's bonkers. I didn't delete it. I don't think any of the mods deleted anything you say. There's YouTube deletion going on now. I've noticed this is an ongoing thing where YouTube mods will come in and be like, "Hey, is this on the up and up?" You know what I mean? They've deleted
they just
messages.
delete shit.
Yeah.
I've noticed YouTube has some it just triggers based on how often you post or keywords and stuff like that, and it'll just wipe a comment that's otherwise fine.
Yeah, that's weird. I was very surprised that my sister was given hormone treatment 2 weeks after coming out. I always assumed there was more needed before that stage. Maybe it's because we're in California. Yeah, it varies very much on a state-by-state basis.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't even started that process yet for multiple reasons, mostly because of cost and because I know there's a bunch of hoops I'm gonna have to jump through and all of that shit. But
bunch of hoops. Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to I'm hoping I live in a better state where I can get it done more quickly. But either way, I do know there's a lot of people that have to wait a long time. And it's honestly, I think it should be easier for some people than it currently is. People shouldn't have to go drive fucking 2 states over to fucking get a fucking hormone prescription or whatever. And
someone said Anna moved to California. No, I was reading out somebody else's. I was reading out somebody else's comment.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe someday I wouldn't be against living out there.
It seems like Washington is pretty good about it as far as getting treatment quicker.
Really, because one of my friends has had to go through a lot of hoops, but maybe it's
I'm
not
in
as
New
much
Mexico.
as other people I've been dealing with.
It's pretty liberal here in New Mexico, so
pretty liberal, yeah.
Michigan, it was surprising to see Hannah have to go through so many hoops because we're pretty liberal here. But she had to go all the way to Detroit for a specialist because where we live, there's just no one there to even help her with that. And that was the biggest hoop.
Yeah, it sucks. This is what makes me mad because these people talk it's way too easy for people to make this life-altering decision. And the way I see it, no, it's way too fucking hard. I mean, never mind the medical hoops you have to jump through and the cost and all of that. What about just the fact that for a lot of kids that are trans that are stuck living with conservative Christian parents, they can't be themselves as long as they want to fucking have a roof over their head.
Yeah.
I know people in my audience who have been kicked out because of fucking shit like that, and it's disgusting. But these people want to act oh, it's just so easy for you to become trans.
See, but here's the catch-22, right? So if you don't go the full medical transition, get surgeries or hormones or anything like that, then they're going to call you a transgender. They're going to disrespect you. They're going to say you're not serious. They're going to be like, oh, you're not actually trans and all this other shit, when there are so many reasons why people can't medically transition.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things too that pushed me away from that culture of people being like, oh, well, these trans people make us look bad. And it's no, they literally just can't afford to spend as much as fucking Blair White does this shit. They can't afford facial surgery, like plastic surgeries, and to get nose jobs, and to go do every other fucking thing that you've had the privilege to go do. They don't have that kind of money. Not everyone does, and money should not be the barrier between if someone's allowed to live as themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely 100%. And that's a whole other conversation. There could be an entire stream about that on this channel at some point. But
Medicare for all, guys.
yeah, exactly. 100%.
Maybe one day. Maybe when we're all old.
Hey. Yeah, maybe when we need it most. Maybe. We'll see.
Don't move to Cali, move to Minnesota. Nah, dude, move to New Mexico.
I was gonna fuck with Jan and say don't move to California, move to Michigan.
Dude, Michigan is based. We have legal weed here. It's great.
Oh, nice. When did they legalize that? The last election?
I think it was was it a year ago or a year and a half or so?
Okay, nice.
It wasn't the last presidential election, it was the midterms, I want to say.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we've had it for quite a while, and it took them a while to get dispensary set up. But yeah, I could literally just walk into a dispensary and just buy like pretty much anything. It's just that you have to have cash only, because federal government means you can't have like digital like credit card transactions and shit like that.
All right. So I want to bring up something Chelsea said, and then I'm going to be done with this video. I want to move about on the last topic and just wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
I want to bring up what Chelsea said. This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in our live chat said ever. Go ahead.
What the fuck?
You can read that, Jamie. I'll let you read the honors.
I said that. I said that as a teen, and I was dating a girl. My mom would get guys to come over to turn me straight. Oh my god.
That is.
That's disgusting.
What the fuck?
That's fucking nasty.
Wait, because you said you were bi? Because
wait, yeah, I know, right? Like, that doesn't even make any sense at all.
Just like, I still like dudes, but what the fuck, Mom?
Yeah, that's not gonna convince them of anything. Like, what the fuck?
That's really fucked up. Wait, she's like, yeah, it was really messed up. Like, I'd come home and there was a dude waiting in my bedroom.
Ew.
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I don't even know how to process that. That's on another level of fucked up.
I would be so creeped out. I'm like, get the fuck out of my room. What are you doing here?
Chelsea, we got to have you on one of these call-in shows one of these days when we're talking about, like, I don't know. I just want to hear your crazy fucking stories. Like,
yeah, dude.
Well, we didn't get M for all when a bunch of people were dying in a pandemic. Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully that Ovaltine window, right? We'll move a bit to the left.
We gotta radicalize people.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fight, yo. Gotta pull people over.
Yeah, gotta radicalize the center and not in the bad direction.
Okay.
A radical center.
So, do you want to talk about the last topic?
Not particularly, but yeah, I guess I will.
Well, you pulled it, so.
All right. The audience wasn't supposed to know that.
What, you trying to fucking pin this on me?
Yeah, I know. I'm an anonymous viewer suggested that we talk about this topic. All right, so just pull up the first
tweet?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Pull up the goddamn fucking tweet. You want to be on? Do you mean like right now, or do you mean like another time? Because we're probably gonna do one tomorrow if you want to be on tomorrow. Like I'll mark you down and everything. But also there is the link below. We're not really gonna accept. I know some people want to call in. I don't think we're gonna be accepting call-ins tonight, but tomorrow we will. Tomorrow we will, 100%.
Sorry, guys.
I do apologize, but I see all your names in there. We'll let you all in next time. I promise. Okay,
guys in the Streamlab chat, y'all can feel special because you're the only chat I'm reading.
What?
So Dusty's about to be arrested. Stay stunned. Yeah,
God.
Stay stunned. You know, stay stunned.
So,
what a goddamn boomer.
Wait, did he put out any more information, or is that all he said?
Unfortunately, yeah, we did get more information, and it wasn't all that spicy. I feel like after seeing this, it was just like a call for attention because this is all he put out, and then his Twitter was silent for like 6 hours, maybe even more. So, yeah,
Damn.
take a look on his Twitter. We'll see what actually happened.
I'll be honest, I don't keep up with Dusty anymore. Since
Nobody does.
Yeah.
No.
What the fuck?
Since wait a minute, like
Oh, wait, here it is.
2016 when people actually talked about Dusty on a regular basis.
Okay, so he's like, I'm fine. Neighbors kept calling cops on me for being loud. Was watching the Snyder Cut and listening to music, but it was Saturday night, so I was pretty irritated and mouthy about it. Was fine though. They took my side. Can't tell if it's because I'm an old white guy or because I'm super cool. Okay.
How
What?
loud do you have to be about the Snyder Cut to have
Yeah,
the
what?
police called on you?
You were playing the Snyder Cut too. Like, all I'm just saying, it seems
I have
like it was
people who
just
play
like
music in my neighborhood I wouldn't even fucking be bothered by. Like, how bad did it
I
have to
know.
be?
Look, is it really that far-fetched for me to just say this seems like a call for attention? Because, like, look at all the people in the comments and the replies who are, like, concerned, like, oh, no, oh, Dusty, I hope you're okay, Dusty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's a scam because he didn't ask for money for bail or anything. Like, but I don't know, I feel like Dusty wants some attention. Good old Rusty Dusty wants some goddamn attention.
He's the type of person that I wouldn't put past him to do stupid shit for attention, but I don't know.
I love how his follow-up tweet is about to go crank that shit back up and watch the last 8 hours of the Snyder Cut.
He's gonna get arrested again.
Damn.
Man,
maybe
Dusty really likes the Snyder Cut, huh? That's fucking crazy.
Maybe he should go start another podcast about it.
It's a Vardim situation. It is a Vardim.
I don't even know what to say about this. It's just kind
By the way. Sarah, are you familiar with that show that he tried to do, the Gotcha Boys?
No. Oh, wait. No, I
The
think
Gotcha
I remember
Boys.
whenever they did that.
Yeah, the show that lasted 1 episode.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so I was actually a little bit involved in the behind the scenes because Vadim asked me for some advice regarding that show, and at some point I want to put something out on my channel. I want to do like a commentary or a rant video just talking about everything I know on the whole situation because it's really fucking crazy. It's just like the podcast that really fucking couldn't, because like, what do you expect working with Dusty, man? You know,
Jake has warned me before about whenever they got on Dusty's bad side because Dusty was trying to do this t-shirt collab business
oh my
thing.
He
God.
invented the t-shirt. He
He did.
invented the fucking t-shirt. You know?
Yeah.
and internet
and
porn.
No, that's not what he
porn thing
claims.
is literally frustrates me the most about Dusty because he never like owned up to that.
Yeah. I don't know. He's kind of insane.
I gotta correct you, Jamie, because that's not what happened. Dusty doesn't claim to have invented internet porn. He claims to have invented the facial.
Oh no.
He didn't invent that either. I don't care. I don't care. It's
good old Busty.
Dusty's rusty. Okay,
Yeah.
he needs to stop trying to get attention and start. I don't know. I just put out something entertaining. I don't even know.
Good old.
Eventually,
Busty.
the boomer will burn out and will
He is a boomer.
log off.
Yeah. Eventually, the boomer will go kaboom and fizzle out. All right.
Yeah, I don't even have that much to say about this. It's just
No, me neither. And like, what a somber note to end on. Like, oh yeah, remember Dusty?
It fizzles out just like Dusty's career.
No. Damn.
Oh my god.
All right. I think you know what I think? I think that's a fucking show. I think
Hell
that's a
yeah.
very fucking good show.
Thank you so much for coming on with us, Sarah. We
Yeah.
had a great time chatting with you.
And you know
Thanks
what?
for inviting.
Let the people know where you can be found.
You can actually find me on Twitter at Legndofphoenix, spelled the exact same way it is on screen, missing the E. You could also find me sometimes on Twitch at the exact same handle. And also I'm gonna shout out, please go subscribe to the actual Jake YouTube channel because I'm the manager for it, and basically that's how I make a living. So if you would check out Jake as well, it helps our whole family. So
Cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, and thank you very much for your time. That was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
All right.
I'm glad you enjoyed it better than last time.
It wasn't that bad last time.
Yeah, this one was less like taking an eye exam, I feel like. All right, I'm gonna roll the fucking outro. You guys drop a like. Consider checking out the Patreon down below for just $1. You can support the show, and yeah, thank you guys very much. Check out check out her channel. Check out Jamie's channel as well, and you guys have a good fucking evening. See ya.